rooted for.
How close?
Yankee Stadium's about, I'm from North Jersey, so it probably took about 25, 30 minutes to get to the stadium. That's without traffic. As we all know, there's a little bit of traffic in that area. So, yeah, I grew up rooting for the Bronx Bombers, so still hard and true.
Rich, what do you want out of your group over the last 2 weeks? Obviously, you have something to fight for still, but are there certain areas that you would like to still see improvement or want to build for next year? Is there anything that you're kind of looking for?
Yeah, well, there's been zero talk about next year. I mean, really, the mantra of I know sometimes it gets old with you guys, I'm sure, but in our one game at a time philosophy, it really hasn't changed. I mean, obviously, in terms of our approach per week, special teams wise, we're always looking to improve, always looking to get better on every phase. I mean, and there's plenty of things we need to improve on and have improved on, which is good. But I still want to see our guys playing hard, which they have done all year. I think we've got to be, what I told the players is we've got to be a little bit more detail oriented, in my opinion. I thought that last week we played really hard. Guys were flying around. We played fast, we played physical. I think some of our detail stuff, our fundamental, our technique stuff. We had a lot of young guys playing special teams as well, and so for those guys, every week is a chance for them to improve, and no different than the team. But until someone tells us we're out, we're in. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Riz, Michael Thomas didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Slater, with the great reputation, did.
Yep.
Was that a surprise to you?
No, that Matthew Slater made the Pro Bowl, because Matthew Slater is a great special teams player with a great reputation. And I think whether you like it or not, you get into those situations, and guys that are from winning organizations that have made the Pro Bowl time and time again are going to be guys that are going to be hard to unseat. So I think Adam might have mentioned this, but making that first Pro Bowl is very difficult. And then a lot of times what happens is guys will make it over and over again. I mean, listen, Matt Slater, I got a ton of respect for Matt Slater as a person and a player, but I think it's a little bit of an imperfect system when a guy that plays less than half the games is in a Pro Bowl. So, I mean, but that's not a knock on Matt Slater. That's, maybe a knock, maybe a little bit more on the voting process. But, listen, Mike Thomas, as you guys all know, I have a very high opinion of him. I think he's played at a Pro Bowl level this year. And as I mentioned last week, you never know how the voting's going to go, and we can't control that. So.
Jakeem Grant, I'm trying to think what his league rankings in punt returns and kickoff returns. I don't know it, but it's pretty good. Has he had a good year, in your opinion? To me, he's been an arrow up the whole year. I mean, I thought we started, we've talked about this. We weren't as good in the early parts of the year as I wanted to be in the return game. I really feel like the last 3 or 4 weeks, Jakeem's really shown us a lot of what he showed us in the preseason. I thought he had a really good preseason. I thought we had a little bit of low there in the middle of the year, and I think we've been really improving in that area. I think his decision-making's been better. His fielding the ball's been better. He's obviously made some big plays. He's had a few, 20-plus yard returns here the last few weeks. And so, the thing I really like about Jakeem is his approach. He really, his approach in week 1 and week 14 is no different. And, he's always looking to improve. And I've said this a million times. I don't think there's a guy that works harder at it, the return stuff, than he does. He's catching as many balls as he did in OTAs, and he still works at it every week. So I think we've improved. I think that's probably the overall theme of the return game, is it's been an improvement as the year's gone on.
Do you think he pops one level, a different impression of his year, because he had that touchdown last year?
Yeah, the return game's funny because that's why sometimes I really don't look at the statistics, because sometimes you can go from 14th to 1st with 2 returns. You know what I mean? So sometimes I kind of take this with a grain of salt. To me, we needed to be more consistent. He almost popped one last week. We were one guy away from having a big one. We had a pretty good return last week, and one guy away from maybe even a bigger play. I think sometimes we get wrapped up into how many touchdowns did the guy score. To me, I'm looking at how effective are we, how efficient are we. That's more important to me to me, those are going to come. You get Jakeem Grant in the open field, he's eventually going to score. So we've got to keep getting him in the open field. We've got to block better. We've got to field better. We've got to do all those things. And so I think that those plays will come. I think sometimes, coaches too, believe me, we get wrapped up into how many touchdowns does the guy have and all that. I just want to see him be more consistent and continue to improve. And I think he's done that. I think he's really improved as the year's gone on. So.
Riz, up to now 3 successful onside kicks on the year, which is an unusually high number. Is there a common theme to what's the success in that area?
You know what? The number one thing is really Cody Park. He's hit some really good balls. You know, I'll start with that. I mean, obviously the couple of surprise onside kicks that he's had, the one that, you know, both times, you know, the one, the dribbler against the Raiders was a great kick. The one against Denver was a great kick. And then last week, when in a regular onside situation, another good ball. I mean, the impressive thing about that is that we've had 3 different types of onside kicks. It hasn't been the same one every time. And so that's really saying something for Cody. You know, it's really a hats off to Cody on that, because we've had 3 different types of kicks that we've recovered. You know, it was a great kick last week and a great onside recovery by Matt Hawk, being an opportunistic spot in that time. But that's kind of how the plan was. He was kind of the trailer in that instance, and did a great job of staying alive and finding the ball. But it is a high number. I mean, hopefully that's a good thing. But, you know, it really comes back to Cody and the execution. You know, a lot of times on those onside kicks, and I've told our players this, you see guys be offsides. I can't tell you how many times we've seen offsides on onside kicks, and our guys done a great job of taking the line and just, you know, really running the play the right way. And so that's been a good thing. But really, again, hats off to Cody, because he's really been the major part of that, major component. Appreciate it, guys.